Welcome into this spooky edition of Gwynn and Chris. Happy Halloween, everyone. 2 o'clock, Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Cello. Matt Scraby is back. His arm is intact. He does not have a sling on, but he's sore, and we'll get into that in a second.
Did you have to come back so soon?
You know, I heard a lot about your trash talking yesterday. And I would like to tell you, you are no longer going to have any help from me ever again. Because
Oh, no.
apparently you told Nick that they were very small shoes to fill.
He said it on multiple occasions.
I didn't say it just to Nick. I said it to everybody.
Multiple occasions. Very small shoes for you to
You want to
fill.
know who told me that? Our boss, Michael. Walking out today, he goes, "Hey, nice to see you." Oh man, those guys gave you a real hard time yesterday.
Oh boy. Well, that'll teach you to take
Chris guy.
That'll teach you to take a day off and go golf.
There's nothing wrong with it.
All right.
We have baseball season is officially over.
Oh yeah.
It-
I'd already forgot about it. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
like out of my mind the minute the last out was made. You know,
when we
it's like-
left out of here, the Yankees were pretty comfortably ahead, and there were discussions in here about possibly the scene shifting to Los Angeles, the pressure being on the Dodgers at that point, and the Yankees they fell asleep in the fifth inning.
Oh my goodness.
And then the Dodgers were good enough to take full advantage of
They did.
the sleepwalking of the Yankees. It started on the simple ground out to first base, and what I found to be hilarious, and I find some things that most people wouldn't find hilarious on a baseball field, but the fact that Garrett Cole pointed at Anthony Rizzo, like, you got that one, brother.
that one.
and Anthony Rizzo was nowhere near the bag.
Yeah.
And Mookie Betts gets the single. The inning continues. They score two.
Oh, that was the ball
inning.
game
Yeah.
right there. I mean, the errors are errors. I mean, that happens. I mean, although Judge, wouldn't miss that ball once in 100 tries,
Right.
but he took his eye off it. You could see he looked right at the base
Try
runner.
to see where the base runners were.
And it's exactly what he did. And, Volpe rushed that throw a little bit. So, but errors are errors. But, not going over to cover first base is practically inexcusable.
Yeah.
I can't tell you, Tony, and you know this, but the first day of spring training, that's what you do as a pitcher.
Yes.
You fake like you're throwing a pitch. The coach hits a ground ball to first base, and you run over and cover the bag.
Right.
And you're in a line.
Right.
And you do it for like an hour and a half. And then you do it the next day. And then you do it the day after.
Right.
And then you really don't have to do it anymore because
Right.
everybody's used to it and knows exactly how to do this. But it's the very first thing you do, and it's so built in that honestly, as a pitcher, I found it almost difficult not to cover first base. Like if there's a ground ball to the right side,
You start going into
you just
like, oh, I don't need
always
to go
do
that one.
that,
Yeah.
and for him to just assume the guy had the play,
And
that was crazy.
That was just the first play that caught your eye, but every hit he gave up after, and this is what happens to pitchers when they start getting frustrated.
yeah, that's
They
right.
just stop covering. Like there was a base hit. He definitely should have been behind home plate covering. He's cutting the ball in the middle
didn't
of the
do
field.
that either.
He didn't do that either.
Yeah, that's
And-
another thing I was very good at, by the way, Tony.
backing
backing up
up
home
bases.
plate. I did that often because that's only happens when you're giving up a run. Well, look, if you didn't hate the Yankees before, and I think most of us did, now we have yet another reason to absolutely hate the Yankees forever. And that reason being that they handed the Dodgers the final game to win the World Series, because that's really what happened. I mean, you give credit to Freeman's just been on fire. Teoscar gets the big hit, and the Dodgers end up having to win the game in the end. But you give them 5 runs in the middle of that game with Garrett Cole on the mound. Dodgers were not. I don't think we're going to win that game without that much help, and they took advantage of it. But the Yankees have a long off season to think about that disaster.
Yeah, and could be an expensive one. We'll see. I mean, immediately that game ends and the hot stove turns on and
Do you think they even asked Juan Soto about the game?
probably
or did they
not.
just go up and ask him, all right, where are you going to play next year?
That's exactly how
I
went
know.
down.
They didn't even care
Juan-
that the poor guy just lost the World Series. Give him a minute to breathe.
My guess is it went something like this. Juan, we saw you as the last one out there. Does this mean it's your last game
There you go.
in New York? And then from there it was, are you open to all suitors? In which he replied, yes, I am open
well, he
to
does
all
work
suitors.
for Scott Boras, so he's open to all suitors. But, we know that there's a limited number of suitors, and
that can afford him.
Yeah,
Correct.
and I think the Yankees will end up getting him back. I know the Dodgers have been in the rumor mill, but
I
don't think he fits there. I think he fits better on Broadway. He had a great season. He has nothing to be ashamed of. But Garrett Cole, I mean, that's going to haunt you for the entire offseason, I think. And Aaron Boone, I don't think he managed a great series. And on the other side, I think Dave Roberts did. Now, a lot of that has to do with the fact that your guys have to come through. But every button Dave Roberts pushed pretty much worked for him. And, they didn't punt the game last night. We were joking when they were down 4-0 early. Maybe they ought to punt again, but they brought in their good relievers and stayed in the game long enough. So
it just goes to show you there's a strategy in a 7-game series on when you can push these buttons and when you should know maybe I should hold off. He held off the game before.
Yeah.
He keeps them for Game 5 virtually. And even though they were down, they go to him. And that was really a tightrope they had to walk all postseason. Remember, they only had, and you can make the argument they only had one. But going into that Padres series, they only had arguably 2 reliable starters.
Yeah, because Buehler was not reliable.
Buehler was not reliable. And quite frankly, every time the Padres had seen Yamamoto, it had not gone well. So ideally, you could really make the argument there was one. And so they get through the first series with a bullpen day and,
the Padres just going cold.
And the Padres going cold.
Yeah.
They go to the next series. All of a sudden, now Yamamoto's throwing the ball a little bit better. Jack Flaherty's not necessarily throwing it well, but their offense really throughout the whole entire process has been the only thing that has been, I think, consistent. And that's ultimately why they won. You look at the amount of runs they put up in that span, they had some big numbers up there. And that's the thing that won them that series, quite frankly. Yes, Dave Roberts pushed the right buttons, but they got enough offense that kept them afloat. They're the World Series champions. We can now shift fully to football and basketball and hot stove conversations, which, probably won't start percolating for
based on the alternative of having to
weeks.
Continue to talk about the Dodgers versus the Yankees. I will accept this outcome that it is finally over.
I'm going to come back to the game, guys. We're going to talk about the World Series. Is that okay, Chris? Because you just moved on from the World Series.
He's
all in his feelings now.
I'm not in any feelings. I'm not in any feelings.
Yeah, you're in your feelings right now.
Aaron Boone is being absolutely destroyed
on Twitter.
In the New York media.
Yeah.
Everybody is destroying him.
Stephen A. hit him hard today, too.
Here's my question, because how can you blame a manager for those 2 plays? Do you think Tony and Chris, I guess, is he not reacting to me today?
He's not reacting. He's not going to give you the open door here.
Do you think you can accurately blame a manager for those 2 things, or those solely on the players?
Well, let's keep in mind where this is taking place.
New York.
It's taking place.
They have to blame somebody.
This is kind of the rite of passage for the media in New York.
But I have a feeling if the Padres had some defensive mistakes like that, people would be crushing Mike Schilt for making those decisions.
What decisions?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
There's no decision.
What was he supposed to do? Put Grisham in center field in place of Aaron Judge?
He certainly couldn't go out there himself and make the plays. So, I think this is, you got to take it with a grain of salt. It's New York media. This team was the media was on the Yankees last year for not actually getting to did they get to the postseason last year?
No.
Did not get to the postseason last year. They were all over him. Questions about his job. He turns it around. They get to a World Series, and they didn't play well. I mean, Aaron Judge didn't play well, although he swung the bat a little bit better the last 2 days. And, I think they just ran into a better team. Yes, in Game 5, they handed the Dodgers the game. There's no question. They gave him the opportunity to win the game.
They gave him 3 errors, a catcher's interference, failed to cover first.
I definitely want to talk about that.
Yeah.
The catcher's interference.
Yeah, that was obviously
it's
a huge
been something
play.
that has been on my mind for a little bit. I think we might have talked a little bit about it here because we've seen our fair share of them.
Right.
And on the biggest stage, biggest game of the year.
Yeah.
Can you afford? Is it worth stealing a strike to give up a base runner
No.
in a game 5.
Not at that point. First and third, tie score, top of the ninth inning or top of the 8th inning. No, I
It's
don't
not
think that's a
worth it.
great time to put a runner on base.
I think it's not worth it. And, that inning was already coming unraveled anyway, but
yeah, they walked a couple guys.
I had been waiting for one of those to pop up in a crucial moment like that. And it did. And
So you put that all on the catcher. That's not just a bad break in a sense.
I think, listen, at this point, we know that catcher's interference calls have gone up because teams are instructing their catchers, hey,
Go out and get
we
that
want to
pitch.
steal that strike.
Okay.
All right. So if that's the case, fine. But it's going to have to be like every other strategy you have. The scoreboard's going to be able to dictate if this is a time for it.
And that wasn't.
And I don't think it was. With first and third, you load the bases up.
And bring up Mookie Betts.
To bring up Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. It's Ohtani. Maybe it's. I mean, I think you might be better off just walking him at that point.
I think you'd be better off facing Ohtani the way he's been swinging.
Exactly.
I'll tell you this, Tony. Catcher's interference used to rankle me a little bit as a pitcher because I felt like my catcher was, hurting my outing. I remember one time I kind of. Well, I don't even know if I was even reasonably nice about it. But anyway, we went into
I don't know too many pitchers who would have been reasonably nice at the time
and
where
not
it
in
wasn't
that
happening.
moment, but I remember I went into the dugout one time, told my catcher, I go, man, what is that? Catcher's interference. He goes, dude, you should thank me. I go, thank you. He goes, oh, yeah, that pitch was so fat, he was going to hit it 8 miles. I saved you. So that was the last time I ever complained about catcher's interference because the catcher put me in my place. But, yeah, the Yankees did everything they could wrong. Aaron Boone, you're going to say his team doesn't play well fundamentally, maybe, and that's why you're blaming him? I guess so, yeah. I'm sure that they took ground balls and covered first base like every other team does.
And it is just
such a simple thing.
They didn't just turn into that team in game
they
one.
They couldn't have played like that all year. They wouldn't have been where they were. Maybe you could say should have stayed with Clay Holmes to pitch the 8th inning, but Canely had not given up a run or basically a base runner for the last 3 weeks. And you know what? Kike Hernandez put a good swing on it, opened that inning with a base hit. Next guy gets an infield single. Then you have catcher's interference. I don't know how much it was on Canely.
It wasn't.
It just happened. So I don't see blaming Aaron Boone other than the fact that it's New York.
How about this?
And plus they had already hammered Judge for the previous two weeks, so that's probably why they laid off of him today.
You decide to sign a massive contract to play center field for the New York Yankees. You got to accept that you're going to get crushed if you don't play well in the World Series.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely.
But I want to ask too. Do you think they should have gone out to the mound to kind of maybe reset Cole, or do they just know Cole and they know not to go visit him?
Cole has been pitching in the big leagues for like 11 years. I don't know that they need to go out there.
It wouldn't change the outcome. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Again, this is on the players on the field. They didn't do their jobs well enough.
And on the other side, as much as we'll hate to say it, the Dodgers, they executed the kinds of things that champion teams do.
100%.
Defensively, all series. I know they made an error here and there, but they made the plays that they needed to make.
Watching that last inning, when
they
took
got
the
two
lead,
sacrifice flies to win the game. That's execution.
Who
perfect.
did that remind? It reminded me of watching the Padres year long.
They got two sacrifice flies to win the game.
Mookie Betts is making an out to center field, fist pumping because he
was
knows
the happiest he's ever been.
I did my job there.
And so did Gavin Lux, who's a number 9 hitter there.
100%.
So, they executed all series long. They got the runners in that they needed to. And, they deserved this series.
I gotta say, I felt good about what Kike Hernandez had to say after the World Series. He said, we had to beat the best team in baseball to start the playoffs. We had to beat the hottest team in baseball to take out the Mets. And then we beat the almighty Yankees to finish it off. That's the one thing you won't be able to say about the Dodgers this time around is that they didn't earn it. And I 100% agree with the premise of what Kike was saying. As you kind of go through who they had to beat to get there.
Yeah, I said it yesterday. That's going to be the one painful thing for Padre fans and all of us is that we had them on the ropes. And based on the
only team that had them on the ropes.
That's right. Based on the way they, dominated the Mets and dominated the Yankees, it feels like if we would have been in that spot, the Padres would have had a hell of a chance.
One more thing, because I know we got to get to break. This is also why you have to allow for at least another. What this is our fourth year in this format. You have to allow for at least another 6 years of this because guess what? This year
The top two teams both had buys.
Both had buys.
Yeah.
Both got to the thing. Both got to the championship. And quite frankly, the way the Dodgers got there without the bye, they may not have been able to get there this year. They didn't have the pitching to skirt through a wild card series and then get into a divisional round. They had to have that bye this
That's
year.
the other thing. You could see the Dodgers pitching options last night dwindling like crazy. Like they wouldn't have been able. I mean, they would have been able to pitch some guys, but they would have been in trouble for the rest of the series because they had pitched everyone in these last three games.
I mean, the calculation once you get the lead changes, right? Because Buehler's certainly not going out there if they didn't have the lead. You know?
What if Buehler gave up a run in the bottom of the ninth? Who is next for the Dodgers to pitch the 10th and 11th?
You're going at that point. You're
They
saying
have a lot of options at that point. They'd already used everyone.
right. You got the thing is and you mentioned this yesterday. You got the day off following that game.
That would have helped for game 6.
So I think that's what you're thinking in that point. I don't know that they leave Buehler out there too long.
No, because they wanted him for game 7.
Exactly. So this virtually works out at his bullpen day, and then he gets the next couple days off, and then he pitches game 7 should it have gotten there, but.
The last time I saw Walker Buehler, Fernando had taken him deep to cap a 6-run inning, and Walker Buehler was physically tearing apart the Dodger dugout. He then never gave up another run the rest of the playoffs.
He came back out and kind of
he
settled
never
in.
gave up another run the rest of the time. So
yeah. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
All right, we're into today's show. It's Halloween, Spooky Thursday. Who we got? Texans and
Jets. Very scary game.
That is scary.
Super scary. Let's get to break. On the other side, the vaunted power rankings, the final one. We'll get into it next. More Gwynn and Chris.
All right, welcome back to the program. Happy Halloween, everybody. Obviously, we are far from being in the
Speak for yourself.
in the spirit. What are you wearing over there?
I'm wearing my Scream shirt. Ghostface.
You wear one of those every day. That's not
It's just a black shirt.
That's not a
this
costume.
one just happens to have a
It's a
mask on
Halloween
it.
costume. It's not
Yeah.
a costume per se.
It's not. It's a t-shirt.
People ask me why we didn't dress up, and I said last year Tony's too cool to dress up.
I'm too old to dress up.
That's not true.
That's
You're
very-
only a couple
You're
years
never too
older
old,
than me.
Tony.
I'm absolutely too old.
Don't use that phrase. You're never too old.
If Adam Rank on the NFL Network and the other guy could dress up like Spider-Man, you could do Spider-Man too, Tony.
I don't know. Those are TV stars. They
I'm
they
not
have a lot
coming in here
more.
with Spider-Man outfit on. You
They have a
kidding
lot
me?
more money than we do. They can spend all that
Right.
on those variables. We don't have that. Anyway, you weren't here yesterday to kind of get us set up.
I
that's
went into this week knowing that we weren't going to be dressing up.
Is that what you're going with?
Yeah, well, that's the truth. I knew, because if I would ask, you guys would be like, "What? Why are you asking us to do that?"
I wouldn't have had really any go-to. I have no go-to for Halloween.
See, Adam says, not our Adam, another Adam. Every show dressed up today. Annie and Elson, as well as Ben and Woods and Paul.
I'm not gonna lie. When I was walking down the hall and I saw Craig's outfit, I was like, "Who the hell is this dude
Yeah,
coming
me
out
too.
of
Me too. When he came back to the back studio, asking me if I could do something on their show, I was like, "Who is this guy?"
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know who it was when I walked in.
The
Napoleon
vote for Pedro's
Dynamite, he
shirt.
said.
The vote for Pedro's shirt gave it away.
It
though.
did.
Pretty
It
good.
did.
Pretty good bag of those guys. Well, look, we're just crazy sports fans. What can we tell you?
Oh gosh,
That's exactly right.
That's just an excuse too.
Crazy
fans dress
sports
up.
fans. We just want to talk sports.
Yes.
Well, I
and
have-
Scraby sometimes.
I have nice, I have nice Halloween rejoins that we can.
I'm all
we're
for
gonna-
the
You put all that
rejoins.
stuff
Yeah,
in
that's
there if
great.
you want to.
That's the Halloween.
I
of
just
us.
feel lame that we're not dressed up.
I don't.
But I do love
don't feel
Halloween
lame
when
at
I'm
all.
driving to work and I'm sitting next to someone at a light and they're dressed up like Minnie Mouse or something. It's just really fun. Last year we had Giants manager Bob Melvin on the show on Halloween, and so the video.
Was he the Giants manager yet?
I don't know. Honestly.
I doubt it. The season had just
October
ended.
feels a little.
Yeah,
little
that
soon.
seems soon.
But all of the video with us interviewing him is me with my face paint on.
yeah.
And so
I don't remember you in face paint last year.
I
Oh
do,
my
and it
God.
didn't work, and he had to wipe it off, and he couldn't get
It
it off,
did
and it was in
work.
his
Oh,
eyes.
that's right.
It was a
You remember-
complete disaster. He was sweating.
they ended up calling me the Panda
profusely.
Bear.
That's right.
We almost had to get emergency crews out here
That's right.
to
When I
tend
forgot
to
about
him.
that.
When I was driving home that night, though, someone like cut me off and obviously made me angry on the freeway,
Oh,
and
that's-
so I was like, "Rah!" And then I realized I had face paint on, and everybody was like, "Oh God, that guy's crazy.
That guy is nuts.
Leave him alone."
They realized what we've all known for a long, long time. Gwynn and Chris here on 97.3 The Fan. All right, we got a couple minutes here. The final power rankings from ESPN on the Major League Baseball season. Were you looking at a different power rankings than I am?
I'm looking at Bleacher Report.
No, you got Bleacher Report. I got ESPN, so we can
Oh, okay.
compare and contrast. Obviously, the Dodgers wind up number one, right, on the Bleacher Report.
Yes, they did.
Who did they have number two?
Number 2, they had the Yankees.
The Yankees number two, even after that miserable performance last night. ESPN did not put them number two. ESPN put the Phillies number two.
Bleacher Report had the Phillies number 3.
Bleacher Report is okay, but ESPN is better because they had the Padres number three.
There it is. Well, Bleacher Report had the Padres 4th.
All right. ESPN had the Orioles 4th,
Wow,
the
they-
Guardians 5th, the Diamondbacks 6th, the Braves 7th, the Cubs 8th, the Yankees 9th.
I don't agree.
That's
with that.
crazy.
That's ridiculous.
That's silly.
That is
ESPN,
crazy.
you had us at 3 and then you lost us at
I
that
didn't
point.
make it up. I'm just reading what they wrote. I will tell you what ESPN wrote about the Padres. It said, can they remain as cohesive for an entire season as they were in the second half of 2024 when they went 43-20? They will be without Joe Musgrove, plus all-star Jerkson Profar, catcher Kyle Higashioka, and reliever Tanner Scott are free agents. Hassan Kim will likely opt out of his $8 million mutual option, so they might need a shortstop. Xander Bogaerts filled in, but he's best suited for second base these days. There are holes to fill, but general manager A.J. Preller will be aggressive as always, And Jackson Merrill looks like the next big star.
This is what the Bleacher Report read. Opening day rank was 16 on Bleacher Report.
Yeah, not bad moving way up.
Yeah, no doubt. It's going to cost more than a 1 year, $1 million deal to bring back Jerickson Profar this time around after he posted a 134 OPS plus with 24 home runs, 85 RBIs, and Chris's favorite statistic, a 3.6 WAR.
Who did?
Jerickson Profar.
Oh, yeah. What was his BAPIP? Can you get that in there,
They don't
please?
have that.
Oh.
He stands as the biggest potential loss for a Padre team with a roster that might be good enough to contend for a playoff spot without any outside additions. Catcher is also in need. A re-signing Kyle Higashioka could be the answer.
Well, I think they're going to keep Profar. I think Higashioka is a little up in the air based on how much money he can make elsewhere. ESPN brought up Tanner Scott. I think we've already kind of waved goodbye to him, not because the Padres wouldn't want to give him the money, but because I'm pretty sure he wants to be a closer, and he's not going to get that opportunity here. So, anyway, it's day one of the offseason, and that's how 2024 ends for the Padres with a final ranking of either 3 or 4. That and
both respectable rankings.
that
to end the
that
season.
and $4.79 will get you a cup of Starbucks coffee.
The chat is asking, are you looking at the way too early 25 rankings, Chris?
Maybe so. I don't. Yes, I am.
Okay.
Actually,
Well,
so
that would
it's
make
the same
sense.
thing, similar thing.
Way too okay, so maybe that's
So
why,
that's why
the
the
Yankees
Yankees are
fall
9.
to 8th, okay, or 9, whatever it is. Garrett Cole can apparently opt out of his deal
Yeah.
at when that time comes, or he can opt in and had an extra year added on the back end of the deal. I don't know how many years he has after this, but
Yeah, the thing they say here is that the Yankees have to re-sign not only or get Cole back, but they have to re-sign Gleyber Torres, Clay Holmes, and Tommy Kahnle. And then the Soto situation.
real quick before Chris gets us to break, we should mention there is a fire at the 15 and 8 intersection. Looks like, we're looking right at it.
Yeah,
Looks
we
like,
are.
it looks like it's starting to be put under control, at least from what we saw at the beginning of this. But just wanted to.
We saw it when it first happened.
Yeah.
It went
There
up quick.
It went up quick, but I tell you what, the response time was crazy fast. They got that bad boy from the thick black smoke to kind of the white smoke that you get as the fire starts to come down a little
Look
bit.
We
at
have
this
our first-
fire expert
You know,
over here. Were you in backdraft?
I read a lot and I watch a lot, man. I got a lot of stuff to do.
Thank
at
you
home.
for the report, Kurt Russell. We have Kelly Danick's traffic report coming up about 3:15. I'm sure she'll have an update on that. In the meantime, we're going to do something fun here. The 30-mile zone. It's been a little while. I was actually watching the other night, and I thought to myself, we haven't had a 30-mile zone in a while. Proof that Scraby and I, although we never get along, we are many times on the same page. So that is coming up next. Some fun stuff in sports when Gwynn and Chris continues.
Gwynn and Chris on the
You can see us there on YouTube. Search 97.3 The Fan, and you will be able to see our little Halloween thing. Here it is, Chris, for you.
Oh, that's
It's
how
one
it
of my
starts.
favorite songs of all time.
Not bad.
It's great.
I didn't realize there was this much of a lead-in to it.
Oh yeah, Frankenstein's getting up, doing his walking around. Come on.
Get into the song already.
Listen how
one
excited Scravy is right now.
An eerie sight. If I ever make a horror movie, which I want to one day, this song will be in it somehow.
Do you think you can direct?
Oh yeah, it's actually what I really wanted to be when I grew up. I
A
made
director?
little. Yeah. I
Can
made
you
little-
write?
Oh yeah.
Are you just saying this
No,
right now?
seriously.
I'm being
Seriously.
serious.
I can write. I made little movies when I was younger. I have a movie of me playing poker and somehow shooting my friend in the head because he beat me
You're a
at
dark
poker.
dude, man. You are a dark dude, man. 238.
Monster Mash.
It was the Graveyard Smash. All right, I'm done.
All right.
We digress. We got a 30 mile coming your way shortly. Quick update on the brush fire. It looks like it had prompted some evacuations. It was burning on both sides of Montezuma Road there,
Oh, wow.
just east of Fairmont Avenue.
I just drove by there.
Yeah.
I was up at campus today.
According to San Diego Fire Rescue Department, it was described as moving rapidly with multiple structures threatened. It does look like they've got it.
You feel like it? But nowhere in that report did it say they have a great handle on it.
It does not.
yet.
It says San Diego police officers were going door to door evacuating residents.
Wow.
Fire officials said that the canyons behind Lucille Drive and Talmadge and Alvarado Estates and College area were burning. Montezuma has been shut down in both directions. Motorists are asked to avoid the area. So
Yeah,
there's
I would
that.
say that would be a good idea. Avoid the area. All right, we'll keep an eye. We don't have a choice but to
Yes,
keep
yeah,
an
we-
eye
we're
on it.
looking
can.
right at it.
It's like right
You
out
see
our
about
window
4
here.
helicopters
Yeah.
kind of circling it right now. So hopefully they get that under control. Scrappy, you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
If you don't know your sports gossip, can you really call yourself a sports fan? It's time to bring together sports and celebrity gossip. We call it the 30-mile zone, mainly so we don't get sued by the real company. On 97.3 The Fan.
Did you have them put that in there, that last part?
Yes, just to
Just to
cover
be
us.
sure.
Yes. Cover
Yes.
us
For those who don't know, TMZ, the popular television show, that's what it stands for.
Yes.
It's 30-mile zone.
Never knew that until Chris brought that to my attention.
All right. What do you got?
What
Do you
is-
have the
what is-
Tom
what
Brady
is-
story in here?
What is the 30-mile? I mean,
The 30-mile zone is the 30-mile area that connects Hollywood, Beverly Hills, Burbank, West LA, all of the entertainment areas of Los Angeles.
Very
So
clever.
they call it a 30-mile zone, and that's why they chose TMZ.
That's what's up. I like that.
All right.
So, yeah, we can't get sued. First one is, whenever a New York sports team loses, you have to look for the front pages of the tabloids in New York.
Some good
So
titles.
many. I mean, this is like headline writers'
Yeah.
dream is having these
The
teams
best
lose.
headliners reside in New York.
The first one from the best sports town, or New York Post, I guess. End of an era.
End of an era.
Not
Got
era,
that. Yeah,
error.
I got that. I like
Yankees-
that.
And what was
title dream-
pictured? Was that the picture of Garrett Cole?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it has a picture of Aaron Judge looking at the runners and dropping the ball
Yeah.
at the same time. Yankees
that's-
title dreams over after crushing mistake-filled loss hand series to LA.
Hand series to LA. I like
True,
it.
true.
I you know what? Maybe the Yankees were just doing the Dodgers a favor. After all, the Dodgers intentionally lost Game 4, according
Right.
to everybody.
They wanted to intentionally
the
lose
Yankees
Game 5.
wanted to intentionally lose Game 5, apparently. And the other thing is the play that they're referring to was never called. It was not an error,
No, it wasn't.
which is why
It's a mental error, but
Yes,
not a
it is.
physical one.
That's why we talk about making plays on defense, not so much errors,
Right.
because sometimes that kind of error can be a lot worse.
Yes, it can.
Yeah.
Another headline from Daily News. This one's not as good, but it's good enough. Fright Night. After early home run, Judge drops routine fly ball during Yanks' horrific fifth inning that hands Dodgers Game 5 and World
Well,
Series title.
it makes sense. Day before Halloween.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's a good
That's
headline.
a good headline. I like that.
I like
one.
it.
It's a one. It's a little sneakier than the previous one.
Yeah.
Yes. The last one, Newsday Sports, says the EEE end.
Okay.
Yanks in world of pain as
End.
errors help Dodgers win series in 5.
That's another good one. I mean,
That was the only one that says the errors helped the Dodgers win. The other
Right.
ones both said that the
Yanks let it
errors
have-
handed
yeah.
it to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So those are just some of the better ones out there.
Good.
I didn't go through all of them, but
It's the
the
end.
end. I still love end of an error.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a good one. Let's go to the next one, which is Mookie Betts. Now, Mookie Betts is a nice guy. It's hard to hate the guy. So
Level-headed.
He's very level-headed, and we're gonna tell you who would be the worst person to do this to. But Mookie Betts was asked by the guys on the MLB on Fox after the game about the situation. Here's David Ortiz starting with that.
Now you got to answer me. That ball that the fans yesterday
Look, man.
tried to rub out of your glove.
Yeah.
What's going on? What went through your head,
that
man?
was wild, man. That was really wild. I've never experienced anything like that. I was telling my wife that was like the second time in my life I've ever wanted to fight someone.
Uh-huh.
But I get it, man. I get it. I don't know if he was trying to get the ball. I don't know what he was really trying to do. But he had to do what he had to do. And It is what it is.
You're too
Nah,
nice.
see, he is too nice. He's way too nice.
He did
David
not have to
Ortiz
do
is
what he
great
had
on
to
that
do.
show. You know what's funny about David Ortiz? I think his broken English serves him well on that show. He sounds entertaining.
Yeah.
By the way he, forms a question.
It's funny, those two guys were teammates. And
Yes, that's
Mookie
right.
knew what he was going to ask before he even
Yeah.
got the question out. The other thing the other thing that came to my mind is I mentioned level-headedness. I mean, the fact that he actually did want to fight that guy and had the
He said he did,
wherewithal
yeah. Surprise.
to calm down. Now, as we said, we would discuss who wouldn't be the guy to
Yeah,
touch.
Scraby actually came up with the
I think the ultimate.
perfect,
Yeah.
ultimate guy. Think out there of any outfielder that you can think of that kind of has a loose fuse.
That would have ended a lot differently.
And this would have ended a lot different had it been
Tommy Pham.
Tommy Pham in right field.
Do you think these guys
my
would've been stupid
goodness.
enough?
He would have been in every right not to take him to a dojo and just yank him out of his seat down there.
We need Tommy Pham to be in every stadium, just ready to fight any fan who tries to interfere with the game.
That would have been all bad. It's a great call there, Scrape.
Tommy Pham pulls that fan, maybe both fans,
It would've
one
been-
with each
It
arm,
would have been grounded pound from
pulls
that
them
point
both
on.
out. First of all, they'd be shaken up, falling all that way, and then he would just get on top and just start throwing haymakers.
No doubt.
Yeah, that could have been ugly. So thanks to Mookie Betts for saving that situation from being worse.
Yeah.
And it was hard to be worse because
It-
it was really, really crappy. We talked about it a lot yesterday.
Yeah, I missed of all the days for me to miss, it was fan day, fan interference day. I couldn't believe the Yankees were going to allow them back in that
That's
stadium.
the crazy part.
That's what we
Like,
said yesterday. We were like, what?
That's mind blowing to me. And
Like,
maybe
you don't want to
maybe-
protect any player?
Maybe they knew that MLB was going to step in. They didn't have to look like the bad guys in New York, stopping the New Yorkers from coming. You know what I'm saying? But it's not a great look for your players. Like,
Now, did you guys talk about the angle of Jesse Rogers? Because I gotta say, again, Eric Hosmer is a really good podcast guy, and he brings up really good topics, which is Jesse Rogers went and found those guys and gave him this whole interview, put him in ESPN and everything, and Eric Hosmer was like, why are you reporting on these
that's
guys?
a
You're
great
just
call.
giving them power.
I did not think of that.
It was
'cause-
Jesse Rogers' text or tweet that I was talking about yesterday, Tony, that said, these guys are being saluted by people out here, and that's where he got the quote from the guy that said, "Oh, you come into our area, we're going to play
We're on
deep.
patrol.
We're going to play defense."
In some ways, I get both sides, right? Why give them the platform? And in the same way, they don't show people running onto the field, right?
Yeah,
Because they don't
right,
want to give them
right.
the power. But would we have reacted? Part of their quote, I feel like, is what made people react in the way they did, which made Major League Baseball react in the way they did, which was ban them from the game, because without that quote of, oh man, we're playing defense as if they're a part of the team, that maybe what did them in ultimately.
Ultimately, too, I didn't want to use ultimately.
I'm about to
after
say you just
said
used it right
ultimately.
after I did.
But the picture of this guy trying to rip it out of Mookie's glove
He
is
looked
going
like-
to last forever,
He-
and it's a very unfulfilling picture.
He looked possessed.
He did.
He did. Like, I got the ball.
Someone said that he looks like one of Penguin's henchmen.
He kinda did.
All right, we'll move on, and we'll talk about what happened in Los Angeles after the win last night for the Dodgers. Fans celebrating ended up, there was a pretty hostile crowd, according to police. Various projectiles being launched at LAPD officers, looting of several businesses, and even an MTA bus was set on fire. Not only that, but a Dodgers fan on video blew his hand off
I saw that.
trying to light a firework
Did he
to celebrate.
blow his hand off for real?
I've seen the video. I don't know how
don't-
mangled the hand is, but there's a lot of blood. There's a lot of blood. So he ended up hurting himself a lot and really, really terribly.
Does
Like,
anybody feel terrible for this guy?
No, we shouldn't.
I mean, I know that's mean, but I mean, these idiots that think that because your team wins a championship, you then can just be, there's no law
Right, you
applies.
have to be
Yeah.
lawless, right?
It's a
Yeah.
little absurd.
By the way, why does this have to happen everywhere?
Yeah, that's my
Everywhere.
question. Do you think when the Padres win the World Series,
hope
we are
not.
going to read about buses being lit on fire?
I hope
And
not.
I really hope not either. And,
I hope
and there's a lot of people that are confident, because I said this on X, a lot of people are confident it won't happen, but I'm not so confident.
I don't know. The over-under on people arrested last night probably was higher than the number that was arrested. There was only 12 that were
for
actually
sure,
arrested.
definitely.
You would have had higher, right?
I would have definitely had higher.
But that doesn't mean only 12 people misbehaved.
that's true,
right?
They
I
can't
mean,
catch everybody.
Yeah, it's a terrible,
It's
awful tradition
I
that
was
we
about to
have
say,
in this country.
It is a weird tradition to
Yeah.
me that your team wins the biggest, championship they can, and then you tear up the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good. All right, let's get to the next one, which is Bob Costas.
Shout out to Don Orsillo.
Don.
I'll leave it at that.
All right.
Okay.
We're not going to say why.
No, we're not.
Okay.
Okay. Bob Costas has hung up his microphone, everybody, for broadcasting baseball games. He said he's stepping away because his contract ended. But a lot of people think he's stepping away because people crushed him on social media for his playoffs.
He did get crushed.
His
I mean,
playoffs performance.
endlessly.
It was not good. I watched in more than just a Twitter clip.
What wasn't good about
He's
it?
just very low energy, and he has this style. He wants to tell stories, and I don't think that not that it doesn't work, because I like storytelling.
let me-
Vin Scully made a pretty
about to
decent
say.
career out of doing it.
Oh, yeah.
I think the reality is. Oh, look! They just dropped the red stuff.
Oh, they're dropping the fire
Retardant.
retardant. Yeah, they are. Yeah, that fire at the 15 and the 8. If you just tuned in, stay away from that
Yeah.
area for sure.
Where were we at?
You were talking about Bob Costas.
Bob Costas telling stories.
Yes, I think what separated Vin from Bob is Bob has been a national voice for a while. So he's talking to everybody, and I think as time has changed, because that style that Bob had is like the style. That was the style in the 90s, 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, right? The difference is Vince Scully's talking to a fan base that has grown with him over time. So that's what they're used to seeing. Bob Costas kind of jumping into the national scene after not doing it for a while, as really media has changed and the way guys do games is different. I think it's one of those situations where, he might have just outgrown. No, maybe that's not the word. A little stale, maybe. Now for what people
Bob?
what people are looking for now.
I think it probably did, but I'm old enough that I just really enjoyed Bob Costas. I know he had a couple of calls that were a little whacked out. He didn't hit all the right buttons, but I enjoyed Bob Costas' storytelling. Obviously, the public does not anymore, and I think he recognized that.
it.
Yeah.
Final one for me. If you guys got any,
I
let
got
me know.
one.
Okay,
I thought you had the Tom Brady.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, you go ahead though.
Well, Tom Brady's ex-wife Giselle is reportedly pregnant.
Yes.
With her new boyfriend, and
Joaquin.
Tom responded with a Twitter post, a tweet, as it were, and it's a picture of a dying sunset, kind of a nice, beautiful photo.
Yeah.
And he's got the old Fleetwood Mac song that is now covered by the Chicks. It's called Landslide. It's a very sad song. Yeah, Stevie Nicks sings to her father about anyway. So the song is playing. It's really a sad song, and at the bottom, Tom Brady quotes a line from the song: "Can the child within my heart rise above?" That was his reaction.
He's not quite happy.
Hey Tom,
It sounds like he's pretty sad about this development.
Hey,
if
Tom.
nothing else.
stay off social media when you're talking about exes, okay?
It's probably smart.
I've made that mistake way too many times.
And everybody's. We don't know exactly what Tom Brady thought when he posted this.
Right.
but everybody is twisting it to think, he's
he's clearly in the dumps
yeah,
right
he's,
now.
he's in his feelings, and he's all
You can't post open-ended posts when you're a
Right.
famous person and something like this news comes out. You just can't, because
Well, he
everybody's going
did.
to connect it.
He did. So,
What do you guys think of that Tom Brady Fox commercial that I see all the time? I
like
think
it.
it's super weird.
I like it.
Where
Which
all the
one's that?
different generations of Tom are talking
Oh.
to him.
I like it.
Really?
that one throws me off.
It does. It throws me off too. It's
How does it throw you guys off?
it just seems lame.
He's also taking heat for calling Josh Allen a spaz. Did you see that?
Kind of is a spaz.
Well, that's what he remarked. The quarterback Josh Allen sometimes, quote, plays like a spaz. And now social media is critiquing him for that,
Down, people.
saying it's highly offensive to people who have physical disabilities,
Okay.
as well as
Okay.
their loved ones.
Is that? I'm
I didn't-
genuinely
I'm
asking.
asking too. I don't
Is
know.
that word associated with
The
people
term
with-
is widely seen as derogatory, particularly to those affected by conditions like spastic cerebral palsy.
not
I didn't know that.
I
Yeah.
did not know that.
So,
So I
then
changed my
if
tune.
he's getting criticized for that, fine.
He's
Then
getting that too.
But
So-
isn't there a kind of a part of it where it's like
he just has to come up with
everybody
a better
knows
word.
the context of what he's saying? He's not.
Yeah, that doesn't make it okay
I know,
anymore, dog.
I know. I'm trying to
Tom Brady
apparently
is
help Tom Brady.
everybody's watching you, Tom. So
And you had a year off, basically, where you just
be
kind of
advised. Yeah.
Let's get to break.
That's it.
3 o'clock hour on the other side.
Here's a concept. Bite me.
Gwynn and Chris starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
Although that lead-in would lead you to believe that we are all in the spirit of Halloween, you can see if you're watching on YouTube that Tony and I clearly are not. Scraby is trying to take credit for the fact he's wearing a ghostly shirt as his
Ghost face
costume, but none of us are really dressed for the part. But we are happy you're with us to close out the month of October. Hour number 2 of the program, we're headed towards Thursday night football. I guess the Jets just have to be on every primetime game, and so they are again tonight against the Houston Texans. We will be carrying the game for you after our program is over. Before we get to the Daily Gambit, a couple of baseball hot stove moves.
I like hot stew.
Yeah, that too.
I like hot stew.
The stew says that the Atlanta Braves have traded outfielder Jorge Soler to the Angels. The Angels part with right-handed pitcher, what's his first name? Griffin Canning. So Soler is a former World Series MVP with the Braves. Did not have the same impact this time around in Atlanta. The Orioles have acquired a outfielder, Daz Cameron, in a trade with the Oakland A's.
Mike Cam's son.
Is that who that is?
Yeah.
All right. He's going to Baltimore. And Daniel Hudson of the Dodgers, former Padre, announced his retirement from baseball today.
How old is he?
He's up there.
He seems like
He looked a little old the other night, man. They hammered him for about 4 or 5 runs pretty quick.
He around there somewhere.
Let me see.
Is that like 3 Tommy Johns?
Pretty strange that there's a retirement story about him. Here he is, 37 years old. So there's your baseball notes for the day. We'll have some football stuff as we go along.
Here's a quick little note. Miguel Vargas, you guys remember him? Former Dodger.
Infielder?
Is the first player in MLB history to win a World Series ring while playing for a 121-loss team in the White Sox.
He was with the Dodgers long enough, huh?
He was with the Dodgers for most of the first half of the season and then got traded
to the White Sox.
To the White Sox
wow.
in that Kopech,
How'd that feel?
In the Kopech deal.
So he's a world champion. Will Venable, the new manager of the Shy Sox.
Yeah.
Talked about that. One of your buddies, Tony, and I'm sure he'll bring everybody together for the opening spring training speech. Manuel Vargas will stand up and say, I got your ring right here. That's funny. 121 loss, got a World Series ring. Who gets or who doesn't get a ring? Like everybody in the organization.
Everybody who's
Joe Davis is getting one, I'm sure.
See, that's the weird part is that Joe Davis was so happy that the Dodgers won. I will say this. He did a really good job the last couple games.
Of course he did a good job.
We told you that he did. He did a whole.
The only thing that changed is the Padres were no longer involved.
He did a great job.
Well, now I got a ring.
I hate to say it with Joe Davis. You can say whatever you want about this guy. He was blessed with an absolutely perfect voice for this. And I wish I had something close to it.
Great hair, too.
Great hair.
Yeah. Well, he also sits next to John Smoltz, who has very little, if any,
the
hair.
opposite of great hair.
So makes Joe look a little better. I thought the broadcasts were great. I had more than one person tell me during the playoffs that they really learned a lot about baseball and pitching.
Me too.
From John Smoltz.
I'm one of
more
those
than
people.
one person said that.
Yeah.
It just also goes to show you that nobody's really paying attention until we get to this
yes,
time
right.
of year.
He's saying all that stuff all season. We just don't hear him.
It.
Yeah, good point.
But the thing that is cool about postseason is you get more of them. You know, during the year you get them once a week.
Yeah.
Certain games. During the postseason, you're getting them every one of those games, and so you kind of get a feel for the breakdowns that he has. Smoltzy's awesome, man.
And the Dodgers, they did a great job. I mean, almost every time Smoltz said, this pitch will work, they threw that pitch, and it usually worked.
Did Joe Davis have a buzzer down there or something? Like hey, Smoltzy just said this, it's coming.
It could be. Maybe the Dodgers
I'm
World
trying
Series.
anything.
Maybe the Dodgers World Series title will eventually be revoked because they were taking advice from a broadcaster.
The worst part about it all is that some of the players said, "Well, now we can claim that we won a full season World Series because that was the only thing I got."
Now all of a sudden, the one they won in 2020 doesn't matter. Yes, they've been leaning on that for a long time and saying, "Oh, it mattered."
Well, of course. I mean,
But now they're saying.
If any one of our team, if our team would have won it, we would have been pushing like, of course that was a championship
Yes.
we won until we got the real
Until
one.
you got the real one.
And now you can kind of say and do whatever you want. at this
Good point, Tony. Let's do some daily gambit stuff. See how things are going there.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo!
If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Shohei Ohtani, I know his current interpreter gets a ring. How about his former interpreter? He was with the club for a while. You gonna send that guy a ring in jail, or?
That would be very valuable in commissary.
I mean, he might have disqualified himself
think
from
he did?
getting one,
Yeah, I
but
think
he
so.
certainly was on the list.
He was on
he
the.
should have been on the
he
list.
was part of the program.
Still the quickest investigation I've ever seen in my entire life.
No,
but we'll
it
move on.
wasn't.
It was so fast.
It was not.
It was like they found out.
We found
Investigation
out.
happened.
No, dog.
Shohei, did you do anything wrong?
No.
No, it's over.
It's over. Ipe sent to the gallows.
Dog, the feds don't work like that, dog. We found out when we found out. They knew long before.
All right.
So I saw a really funny tweet though. In whatever prison or whatever clink Ipe's in, he just like cheered like crazy because he just won his bet on the Dodgers winning the World Series.
Not his ring.
Not his ring, his bet.
Might have been cheering for the ring as well. All right, yesterday Tony and I made some picks. Tony took the Dodgers plus a run and a half. I took the Yankees to stay alive. Tony got that one. Garrett Cole did have more strikeouts than Jack Flaherty, so I won that one. We both thought Aaron Judge would get over 1.5 in the runs, hits, and RBI department. He took care of that with that home run. College football, Kennesaw State was a winner again.
Wow.
They
At
did.
least, no, they didn't win the game, but they won the
covered.
spread.
Okay.
Western Kentucky minus 24. Western Kentucky won by 17. Lakers and Cleveland, 227 points. Thankfully, even though this wasn't a very good game, Tony had us turn it off quickly in the studio.
I did.
Lakers, they did get up over that, 244 points, so we both were correct. LeBron James, 36.5 points, rebounds and assists. He totaled 35. Once again, the odds makers right on it. Both Tony and I went over.
Hey, but the front page of ESPN told me that Bronny made a shot.
Oh, did he score? I knew he
did.
came into the
Guys,
game. I did not
first
know he
bucket.
scored. All right. Well, he can take that with him
Look
to
at
the
the
G
hater
League.
over here.
Take
Well,
that with him to
I
the-
don't think
What- say it again.
necessarily that.
First what?
This morning when I logged on to ESPN.com to look at news, I saw
It was
a
not
big.
the first story.
This morning.
Dude, come on. The
No,
World
everything
Series,
changes.
The World Series was still the thing at the top. I was up this morning just along with you.
Chris and I have found also that sometimes we get different stories in our
Yeah,
things.
you needed to update your thing because that clearly was
Ronnie
before the
James,
game.
1 for 2, 2 points, and 2 helpers.
What's that?
2 assists.
Oh, 6. 2 helpers.
Yeah, Bronny. And then the final one, Orlando minus 5 at the Bulls. Tony took Orlando. I hung in there with the Bulls. Bulls win, 102 to 99.
Watch out, the Bulls.
This was really interesting end of this game. I don't know if you saw it. The Bulls got the rebound foul with 0.1 second to go. Now, remember, they put the rule in many years ago.
Can't get a shot off.
You cannot get a shot off in 0.1. But the Magic tried anyway, right? They inbounded. Paulo Banchero caught the
he
ball
made it. I saw
40
that.
feet from the basket in the air and flung it to the rim and made it. And, it was close to being in time. I don't know how he, because you can't even physically do it. But they didn't count the basket. So the Bulls won. I had a good night. I'm 12-9 for the week. Tony's at 11-10. Scraby, with the off night, stands at 8-6.
Still not great.
Here we go. Jets -2 against the Texans. Once again, this comes back to the odds makers putting a number up there that they think people will bet on. So there's no way the Jets are better than the Texans.
But they get 3 points for being the home team.
That still shouldn't be enough, but they're favored by 2. I'm gonna take. Did Roger gonna have one good game? I don't know. I'll take the Jets. Stupidly. Tony, I'll give 2 points. What am I doing?
Texans.
Yeah,
that was
taking a better team there. Scrape?
I'm going to take the Jets because the Texans don't have any wide receivers right now. They got one, Tank Dell.
Oh,
Nico
that's true.
Collins is out.
Their
Stephon
starters are
Diggs
out.
is a torn
Hit
ACL.
my man Tank Dell, baby.
And the Jets do have a lot of wide receivers. None of them ever catch a pass.
Except for Garrett Wilson.
I know. Speaking of those receivers, Devontae Adams over under 60.5 receiving yards. Tony? Is he due to break
He's
loose?
going over today.
I hope so. Scraby's playing against Devontae Adams in our fantasy matchup.
Yeah, which I'm very interested to see because this is probably the night he's going to go wild against me.
I hope so.
So I'm going to say under.
Of course, you need to say under there. I will be hopeful and say that he goes over. Who gets more passing yards, Aaron Rodgers or C.J. Stroud? Scraby?
I feel like this is a must win for the Jets, so they have to be perfect. Aaron Rodgers has more passing yards.
You know who's rooting for the Texans a lot tonight? Aaron Boone and the Yankees. Get them off the front page tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Because if the Jets lose,
they're
they'll
2-7.
They'll crush Aaron Rodgers, and then they'll forget about the Yankees for a day. I'll say Aaron Rodgers also. Tony?
Stroud.
We'll go Stroud, okay. College football tonight, Tulane -15 at Charlotte. Tulane is 6-2, 4-0 in the conference. They've won 5 straight. Charlotte's 3-5, 2-2. Sounds like Tulane's much better, but 15 points on the road. Too many. I'll take Charlotte plus the points. Tony?
Charlotte.
Charlotte as well.
Do you know what the nickname for Charlotte is?
You know, it's funny. I was just thinking of that, and that's one that I do not know.
Really?
I know every nickname, I thought, but I was just thinking to myself, I don't know Charlotte's nickname.
You'll never forget it now.
Okay,
They're
what
the
is it?
49ers.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I did know that, but that was when they were North Carolina Charlotte. Cedric Maxwell, the old Celtic,
yes.
he led them to the Final Four one year.
And they're the 49ers.
Long time ago.
I don't understand why they're 49ers. I didn't know they
But
did a lot
I
of
do remember they were the
gold rushing.
49ers. Yeah.
What did you guys pick?
We both picked the 49ers here.
Okay.
Who you taking?
49ers.
49ers.
Just based off their name?
Yes.
We're all going 49ers. NBA tonight, Spurs are 1-3, but they're favored by 1 point on the road against the 0-4 Jazz. Jazz are the only winless team in the NBA. Tony, who do you
They'll
like?
remain winless. Give me the Spurs.
Spurs, he says. Okay. Scraby?
I'll go with the Spurs.
Spurs. I'll take the Jazz. They're not going to go winless this season. They'll win
never
a game
know.
somewhere. All right, I brought this guy up because I really like this guy, and he's from San Diego. And I don't know if we could ever get him on the show, but I think he would come on if the Clippers ever got word to him because he's that kind of guy, and that's Norman Powell.
Oh, yeah, that's a doable one for sure. I thought you were going to say Kawhi.
No, Norman Powell. I mean, this guy, he's pretty
That's doable.
legendary and
Lincoln Hornet.
Lincoln High and
Did he play
everything.
for the Lakers?
No.
Everything he does in the community, and now he's
Toronto and then the Clippers.
Yeah,
Oh,
he does.
Toronto. That's why I know. I remember Ben Woods had him on after Toronto won the championship.
Yeah, Norman does a lot of good stuff in this community still, even though he's playing up in
he
LA. So his over-under tonight for the Clippers is 19.5 points. They're playing at home against Phoenix, and I believe Scraby's up on this one. Over or under for Stormin' Norman?
Under.
Oh, my God, after I just said all those nice things about him.
That's typical Scraby.
Typical Scraby. He just goes, ah.
Well, Chris is
I'll
the
fly in the
cooler.
face of that.
Chris is the cooler, so.
I'll say, oh, wow, I'm now the cooler.
I believe that was you, son.
Norman, by the way, Storm and Norman through 4 games this year is averaging 26 a game.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna say
the
over
as
We're both
well.
going over. You stay with the under there.
I will.
And then we got a hockey matchup tonight between my favorite team and Scraby's favorite team, and they're both in last place at the moment in their respective divisions. Blackhawks at Sharkies. Blackhawks are favored by 1.5. I obviously have to take the Blackhawks, but I don't like. No, I'm not. I'm taking the Sharkies. If the Blackhawks win, they're not winning by 2. Tony?
Sharkies.
Sharkies? Scraby?
Did the Sharkies win the other day?
They've won 2 in a row, I think, after an 0-7 start.
Give me the Sharkies!
We're all going Sharkies. Okay, there we go. Daily Gambit is in the bag for the day. We'll take a quick time out here. When we come back, you want to criticize Dave Roberts? Is that what you want to do, Scrabe?
Is that what you want to do, Scrape?
I wasn't thinking about criticizing him.
Yes, you were. You put it right in the
I was
going to
make
here.
you guys criticize him.
We have to criticize him here. By the way, I wanted to remind everybody, because we haven't already, but baseball season may be over, but Inside San Diego Baseball with Sammy Levitt is just starting. You can listen Wednesdays. Imagine it'll start next week from 7 to 9 p.m. right here on 97.3 The Fan and on your YouTube page. Sam will talk all things Padre baseball, keep you up to date on the latest hot stove rumors. So make sure Wednesday night, 7 to 9, our guy, Sammy Levitt.
I'm the
Good luck, Sam.
For Inside San Diego Baseball.
Right, so if you're able to survive the hour with the Chronicles,
Now, wait,
you'll be rewarded with Sam Levitt.
Real quick, I know we got to go to breaks. So it's just baseball, San Diego baseball, stove-like? What is this show covering?
I don't know. I'm not Sam Levitt. No, but I think... No, I did talk to Sam a little bit about it. It's going to be, hot stovey, San Diego Padres, plus, just other teams and NL West stuff. Just trying to keep you up to date on what happens this offseason.
Sam Levitt, he can get it done. We can get you some traffic, probably an update on that fire situation.
Oh, it's looking very good now.
At the 8 and the 15, which has been snarling traffic all day and putting a lot of people in jeopardy. We'll get the latest on that and then come back. More Gwynn and Chris.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic.
On 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com and get a great deal on an iPhone 16 Pro. Ring. 3:24 on the clock. Tony Quinn Jr., Chris Zello, Matthew Scrape.
Do a lot of damage with that blue Bic pen I got there.
You're being serious. You can severely hurt someone with that pen.
That's right.
Scrape, you had some words for Dave Roberts. Is that what I was hearing when we went to break?
Yeah,
Well,
you were all upset.
I
so
wasn't upset.
Let's turn it over to you
Chris
here.
always says that. Well, he was really upset about it.
You want some smoke for this quote.
Yeah, when are you less than upset? I mean, you only go from 0 to 60.
It's true.
You don't drive 19 miles per hour.
No.
So if you're upset, you're really upset.
I'm not so much upset. I just like when people say things, it's just so weird to me sometimes that they said things. But Dave Roberts, I was reading, I know, Ken Rosenthal's article on The Athletic.
So why don't you read the quote so everybody can see what
Dave
you're
Roberts.
upset about?
We outfought the Padres, and that's their style. They're like brawlers. They're like the UFC. We're like the technical fighters, but we showed ourselves that we can brawl. Now, what bothers me about this is he is basically saying to me that the Padres aren't a technically sound baseball team. They're just full of talent.
No,
and my team is technically sound, and we do everything right,
That's
and
not
we get
what he
everything.
said, Scraby.
That's how I see it.
Well, it's not what he said. He's talking about boxing and UFC.
I get what his analogy was.
I think he could have said it better by saying the Dodgers are the more buttoned down approach.
Yeah.
They're kind of the ho-hum, boring, technical.
What does the analytic tell us?
The Padres are more fun. Padres kind of play off the cuff a little bit more.
I mean,
Dave Roberts is saying that in that series he felt his team out.
But the thing is, he said they showed themselves, meaning there was a point where they didn't know if they could actually be that type of brawler, right? And I think a lot of people could relate because I think a lot of people find UFC to be more fun and all of those words.
Boxing isn't fun. It's all about getting points.
Right, too technical.
What was that one guy, Mayweather? It never seemed like he hit anybody in his life, but he won every fight because he was just...
You couldn't hit him.
He couldn't hit him. Yeah, he only had to hit you once. He'd win the fight 1-0.
You know what I also find interesting about this quote?
What else, Scrape?
Dave Roberts has mentioned the Padres multiple times after they beat the Yankees.
I don't think there's any question, and it's not just Dave Roberts. Everyone
we said Kike did the same thing.
Yeah.
I think they all recognize that their toughest matchup in this run was those guys down at Petco Park. I don't think there's any question. You can hear from when you hear Kike talk about their kind of run. A couple guys have kind of mentioned that, or have at least alluded to the fact that, Padres really got them on the right track at that point.
The Padres put the fear into them, and I don't think the Mets or Yankees accomplished that.
No, they definitely didn't.
So.
It was the toughest matchup they had.
Dave Roberts left
a
bitter taste in my mouth from this postseason with the whole Manny Machado thing. I know everybody's willing to just sweep it under the rug, and I'm going to have to get over it.
I don't think anybody's sweeping it under the rug. I think the fact of the matter is he did what he needed to do to get his team in the direction that they got.
He did not need to pull Manny Machado's his professionalism into it. That's the thing that I didn't like, is he pulled his professionalism into it.
I'm going to say that I agree with you. I think if I saw Dave Roberts...
You punch him in the face?
Absolutely not. I would go to shake his hand and then I'd pull it back real fast. I think that... I think that he would almost
I just imagine that happening.
I think Dave Roberts would almost apologize for pulling Manny Machado into it the way. I don't think he intended to do that. But I think in saying what he said about Manny, it cast aspersions in Manny's direction from a lot of other people. People outside San Diego, people that don't follow the team, that thought Manny was doing something really, cheap and unfair. And then he kind of, said it later that that didn't really happen. I don't think everybody saw that part of it.
No, he admitted it was a ploy.
I think that's in our own silo. I don't think anybody across the
just here, huh?
was like, oh my gosh, Manny's at it again. I think it was generally just in this spot. Obviously, Ken Rosenthal's article wasn't I thought poured more fuel on it than,
it definitely
than
did.
anything that Dave Roberts said, quite frankly. But, you know, at the end of the day, his responsibility is not to the Padres. It's to his team. And he did whatever he thought was necessary. They got rolling, and they win a World Series title. And as my man Stephen Wood said, their fans get to be unruly for a whole year.
They do.
And there's nothing that can be said.
They can be unruly, but let's not all get arrested.
Well, you know,
Or blow our hands off with firecrackers.
if they want to get arrested
They
and
already
blow
did
their
that.
hands off,
Yeah.
that's their prerogative.
I guess.
Scrape, you got anything else, man?
No,
Any
it's
more?
just hard for me to handle. Like, I really wish that the Dodgers didn't win.
Yeah,
I will be that hater.
I
You
think
can
a
call
lot of
me a
people.
hater.
Hey, listen, I think a lot of people wish the Dodgers didn't win.
Because I really love that we had the Mickey Mouse World Series over their heads, and now we don't have that anymore. We don't have it anymore.
Can't hold the Mickey Mouse anymore.
No,
dog.
we can't do it.
The one thing I can say is that the Dodgers winning in the way they did, in the eyes of everyone around the baseball community, made the Padres look in the best light possible.
100%.
So you might be able to, appease yourself with that a little bit.
No, I can't. I do
You
like
can
being the
fake it
bigger
a little
person.
bit because of that.
Right.
You know.
It's not what we want. We don't want to just be thought of as a team that had a chance to win.
Right.
We want to be thought of as a team that won. And that didn't happen, obviously.
No, there can only be one, unfortunately. All right, let's step away. Let's get back on track here with the timing of things. And when we return, Scraby's got a big five. Morgan and Chris on the other side.
Ben and
It's Hallows Eve.
I like that Halloween beat right there.
I picked this one specifically for you.
If you come
Christmassy at the end right there.
if you come to
Didn't
my
hear
house
this part.
tonight, you'll get a bunch of, Costco bagged candy. Bought like
Bags?
No, I mean, they give you the gigantic bag of little candies.
Oh, I thought you were giving out bags of candy.
No,
I was going to stop by.
We can't give out them. We get a lot of trick-or-treaters in our neighborhood. Tony, how about your exclusive area?
It's definitely not.
Does anybody make it up to your front door?
Do you
Believe it
do
or
you
not,
not charge for the monorail to your house?
You guys are funny today. You got jokes. My neighborhood is actually the neighborhood to trick or treat.
Oh, yours is the one. All right.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So you give out some good stuff.
Yeah, when we're there, we got a certain amount of time because we got kids. We got to take out to go.
Oh, they got to go. Yeah, right. They got to do their thing.
You got a certain amount of time to get to my house before we just leave the candy outside the door and just leave a nice note to say, "Take 2 pieces, please."
And is it trick or treat at the Scraby residence?
There's neither. Lights off.
You're one of the lights off houses, huh?
Yeah, I'm not going to be home in time. I'm not going to be home in time.
That's diabolical.
Not
Right?
gonna be home in
Lights
time.
off.
I used to when
Get
I
out
was,
of here, kids.
I mean, we used to throw eggs at those houses. I don't know if
know.
that still exists.
TP their houses.
Yeah.
That's why I put up cameras outside.
Back in the day, man. See, that's another thing. You can't get away with none of that stuff because everybody's got a ring at their house. You used to be able to sneak up midnight, a little later, bring out the toilet paper or the eggs, depending on how much you dislike this house.
Yeah, I was gonna say eggs are a little bit worse.
Yeah, eggs are tough.
Eggs are really tough. Bologna on the car paint.
Oh, I never seen the bologna.
You never heard about that?
Nah.
If you throw bologna, apparently it degrades the car paint, which is great because you're eating it. But shaving cream.
Never went to that.
What have you ever did you ever do the bag of light on fire the bag?
No,
I've seen that on we've all
bag.
seen it.
Well, you put
I don't
dog
want to bring it
poop
up.
in a bag and then you put it on someone's door. You light it on fire. You
So when the
ring
person
doorbell.
comes out, they stomp the bag.
Yeah,
and
like
then
it's on fire. Oh,
You haven't seen that ever, Tony?
No, Tony just stopped himself.
That's a new one.
I've never seen that.
That's messed up.
Oh, it's messed up, completely messed up.
too.
Sure, but I've seen it on television many times.
Ed McKee says Oreos on a windshield, cream side down. That's diabolical.
All right, let's
That's
everybody behave
diabolical.
themselves.
Yeah,
and have
don't
a
go
nice
out there
Halloween.
doing that, dude.
As we just did 10 minutes on how to destroy the neighborhood.
I also never threw pumpkins because I felt bad for the people that carved them. I did not want them to come outside and say, "Hey, my pumpkin I spent 4 hours on is broken."
Those were the simpler times, though, where you could be mad at a neighbor and just TP their house, like.
And like we're cool. You
It's
got
all
us back.
good. Like I got you. Good.
Yeah,
Scrappy,
now
I'm
it's
com-
like
I'm
police
coming
get
to-
involved.
I'm TPing your house for leaving the lights off tonight. Come on.
That's crazy.
I'm not going to be home in
Crazy.
time.
Come
work.
over to my house on your way
Crazy
home,
work.
get a few extra bags, and take it with you so you can hand something out when you get home. Come on.
I think years ago when I was a drinker, I loved giving out candy because I would just sit there and drink and give out candy. I
Well,
don't
you
think
can
the
sit there and
parents
not
like that.
drink and give out
Yeah,
candy.
I'm sure the parents didn't like it.
But they did actually come up and get some refills. They're like, "Hey, you got a little bit more of that?" I was like, "Yep, here you
Well,
go."
that's the one thing that helps parents
Trick
get through this
or
day.
treat.
Hot toddies.
That's right.
All right, traffic and then Big Five stuff. Let's go.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. Well, guys, it's all about this 37-acre brush fire in the College area this afternoon. Numerous closures centered around that. For instance, southbound 15 to the east 8 is closed at this time. You're also going to find Fairmont exit off of the east and westbound 8 closed. Fairmont itself closed between the 8 and El Cajon Boulevard in both directions. Montezuma is closed between Fairmont and Colwood. So, yeah, a lot of congestion on surface streets, people trying to get around all that mess, as well as our freeways. In fact, Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a collision on the Adams Avenue off-ramp of southbound 15. Just give yourself plenty of extra time if you need to travel around surface streets, freeways, or anything surrounding this fire. Again, this is centered mostly around Montezuma and Fairmont, and they're saying approximately 37 acres have burned so far. We'll keep you posted on that throughout the afternoon. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car. Usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
One thing I do love about Halloween is I was looking up at the TV and they were showing live shots of the teams warming up for Thursday Night Football. And there's just a guy in a hot dog costume standing behind everyone. It's just, you can't see it anymore, but it was hilarious. That's what I love about Halloween.
A hot dog, just random.
Just standing there.
In the back of some warm-ups.
While the guy was just stretching. It was hilarious. If you love Mediterranean food, try Spiro's for authentic Mediterranean cuisine in Coronado or La Jolla. For dining or takeout options, visit spiroscuisine.com.
Number 5.
Now, Ethan Salas is raking in the Arizona Fall League right now. He's hitting .308 with a .912 OPS, and he ranks in the top 5 in the league in doubles and RBIs. So he's doing really well down there in Arizona. Tony, you're up first. Not going to ask you about his Major League debut because we've already talked about that.
Yes.
But you personally have talked about I know. You personally have talked about Jackson Merrill raising the bar for Padres rookies. So do you think fans will support Ethan Salas like Jackson even if he struggles?
No, they will not.
Okay.
That's just a cold hard.
Like give him a
reality.
standing ovation if he's hitting 175 at the end of May.
Now,
It's probably unlikely.
San Diegans aren't, despite how Twitter may make you think, San Diegans are actually good fans in terms of that type of thing.
Yeah.
They don't boo, guys who are struggling. And so I don't expect them to be ruthless, but I don't think they will be giving standing ovations if he's struggling. I think I meant that. Like, you got to remember, Toddy set the bar that I don't think, quite frankly, none of us thought would be touched for a while. And then Jackson comes on and raises it. And so that's 2 rookies that have come on the scene and have, like, major impacts.
We expect it now.
And so, considering that we heard Toddy's name a lot, we talked about him before he came here. Jackson, we talked about him before he came here. I mean, we've been talking about Ethan for like 2 years. And, he's still probably a couple years away. I can only imagine by the time he gets up here what the expectation is going to be like. So, if he's not doing well, I don't think San Diego's will be hard on him. But I don't think they will be, cheering him.
If he's not.
Tony Gwynn will lead the charge of, hey, relax,
Yep,
it's early
I sure
in the
will.
season. But there won't be a lot of people on that.
They won't be listening to me.
On that same thing, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like the last couple of years, every year, Tony's the only one not jumping off the cliff because they're sitting one game under 500.
That's also why I'm here.
I know. You're supposed to rein us in.
Help us have a better baseball experience.
Is he still 18?
He might be younger.
I think he's almost
It says
19.
here he's 18,
Okay.
but I don't know when his birth date is. That's young.
He's born
and he's
June
playing
1st.
and he's playing the catching position. Like this not just. He's got so much more than most positions have to deal with. So,
Chris, did you say anything about this?
Yeah, I gave you the Tony story.
Okay.
That was my thing.
Number 4.
The Big Five is brought to you by Summit Subaru of El Cajon. See all the 2 ways to save right now at summitsubaru.com. There are 6 roster spots left in the unrivaled 3-on-3 basketball league, and Caitlin Clark, the 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year, is reportedly being courted with a rich offer. According to Sports Business Journal, Clark and Unrivaled have held talks about her participating in the 3-on-3 league that's set to tip off in January in Miami. The offer to Clark is believed to be worth over $1 million, which include an equity stake in the league. By comparison, she signed a 4-year, $338,000 contract after being drafted by the Fever. She made $76,000 last year and could earn up to $97,000 in the final year of her deal. She also has endorsement contracts, reportedly $28 million with Nike over 8 years.
good for you, Caitlin.
But she is one of 2 high-level WNBA stars to be courted, along with Asia Wilson of the Aces, who both of them have yet to commit to playing. So, Chris, if you were Caitlin Clark's advisor, what would you advise her to do?
The million sounds good, but I don't know that she needs it.
Equity stake in this thing?
Yeah. It'd be hard to pass up. Are you going, Tony?
No,
you're just waiting for my answer.
He's whipping his head around.
I know. I was like, he really seems interested in this response for some reason. I don't know. I don't know that anything great can happen for her on a how we feel about her stage. I mean, she's already. I think she's done everything she can do to be fantastic. Unless she's going to go to this 3-on-3 league and dominate that, and
She probably will.
You think?
I mean, she's really good.
She's really good.
Yeah, but I'd stay away. I think she'll be too much of a focal point.
All right, Tony. If you were her advisor, what would you advise her to do?
I would advise her to take advantage while this window is open, because we know as athletes, it's not long. Just remember, the Big Three, which is the league owned by Ice Cube, they offered her more.
Yeah.
But I don't think there was any equity at stake there.
I don't remember that
I don't think there was.
Equity is a good bargaining chip.
It's a great bargaining
What is the name
chip.
of this league again?
It's
Unrivaled.
Unrivaled. It's really cool. It's the two people involved are Brianna Stewart, and then one of the other girls are in the league are the ones who started it, I believe. And so she gets it on the ground floor, and if women's basketball continues,
Nafisha
Collier, that's from the Lynx, right? That she plays for the Lynx.
I believe so.
So if women's basketball continues to move in the direction that we've seen it move, she takes that equity. She may not even have to play very long in that league. She can get her $1 million. And remember, most WNBA players go overseas in order to supplement, the type of money.
We saw that with Brittany Griner.
Right. And after that incident, I don't think a whole lot of people are comfortable necessarily going overseas to play.
I changed my mind. Well, I'm reading about the league. I thought it was mixed men and women. Yeah. And I didn't think she could kind of stand out in a league like that. I didn't realize it's an all women's
3-on-3 league. Yes.
League. Then she yes.
This is an easy $1 million to make playing 3-on-3.
I mean, she's got former teammates from her college that are in this league, so she ought to be in it.
Yeah, I think she should.
Yeah, they the quick bullet point is that they're trying to provide a domestic option for WNBA players during the off season, so
they need more money. They don't get enough to play in the WNBA.
I mean, I have no evidence behind this, but I would think 3-on-3 might be a little safer than playing 5-on-5 in terms of like the risk of getting injured in the off season. And that's good money, by the way.
$1 million. I'll
to
take
play
that right now.
3-on-3.
I'll take that right now.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer for Caitlin.
All right.
Number 3.
There's less than 1 week until the NFL trade deadline on November 5th, and many teams have already begun loading up for a Super Bowl push. DeAndre Hopkins, Deontay Johnson, Amari Cooper, they have been moved already. Today, Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow was asked if he thought the team should trade for some potential help this season, and he had a simple response. "That's not my job," Burrow said from Cincinnati.com. So, Tony, you're up first here. They are 3-5 this season, the Bengals. Are the Bengals going to make the playoffs this season?
This is what happens. Chris and I talk about this is what happens when you don't take care of business. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, both could be free agent.
It's a bad organization. We've said that before. Mike Brown is a lousy owner, and that's too bad for the people of Cincinnati.
T. Higgins is playing, I think, on a 1-year deal. We already know Jamar Chase held out until the very last minute. We asked, what was going to be more important, to play or to get his money? He decided to play, which isn't the decision a lot of guys make.
No.
But it doesn't mean that feelings aren't raw and filling away. Do you get the best out of your employees when they don't necessarily enjoy coming to work?
No.
I don't think so. And the thing is, when you've done that over a certain amount of period of time, as Chris has said, that starts to permeate in the locker room, even if those guys have contracts. They know, well, that eventually will be me. And so now you got a 3-5, because guess what? They didn't mess around when it came to Joe Burrow, and it has nothing to do with Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
But that's how it's going to be viewed. Like, oh, when it came time to pay the quarterback, you didn't have any issues with it.
You did it.
Now all of a sudden it's time to pay one of your most productive wide receivers. You don't want to do it?
Yeah.
I think What was your question? Should they?
Are they going to make the playoffs?
No.
Chris?
Everything Tony said, and then I'm looking at their schedule. They need to win 7 out of 9 to really have a chance, and their schedule says they will not do it. So got 2 with the Steelers, 1 with the Ravens, Cowboys, Chargers in there. I don't see 7 and 2 out of that.
Yeah.
That's tough, yeah.
So I say no. And I also think the Bengals are kind of broke because I'm watching them.
They don't look
and
the
they
same.
just don't look like the Bengals to me. Chase looks like Chase.
Oh, it's a contract year.
Yeah.
But Burrow's doing his thing, but the rest of that team there's something not right about it.
They're disgruntled.
Their defense isn't coming up with the
Lou Amarillo lost his
turnovers.
touch back there.
It's not
My guy.
It's not Amarillo.
What is it?
I don't know.
Oh,
but
Anarumo or something. Yeah, I know what you mean.
We knew what you were referring to.
Yes,
it's just
you know
funny.
what I meant.
It's just funny.
Number 2.
Last year, the NFL and Disney had a game that was fashioned to look like it was being played in Toy Story. On December 9th of this year, the NFL is going to do it again. This time, I think I'm going to watch this first over the regular broadcast.
This is on Nickelodeon?
No, it's on like an alternate channel.
Oh.
The Simpsons is going to be a theme for this alternate broadcast. It'll be presented as a dream scenario in Homer's mind after a backyard football game with Bart and Homer on different sides of the Monday Night Football game.
This is Homer's mind?
Yes.
Oh, wow. This could get crazy.
Bart's going to be joined by some of his Springfield Elementary cohorts, while Homer is going to be joined by his drunk friends from Moe's Tavern.
What night is this happening?
Cronies.
December 9th. Cronies. Yeah, I didn't want to say cronies because I think drunk friends is the better way to go about that. Chris, do you care at all about these broadcasts?
I'm looking at the matchup. It's the Bengals, who we just talked about.
Yeah, Bart's going to be a Bengal.
And the Cowboys.
Yeah. Homer's going to be
Two subpar teams right now.
Sounds fun. I might tune in. Remind me, and then help me locate the channel because I don't know how to find stuff like that.
I'm already out from that.
Speaking of remind me.
Do you care?
I'm gonna need it. I don't care about this game, but I'm gonna need you to send me a text before this Thursday night game so I can watch it in the way that you've been talking
Tonight?
about. Yes.
I'll schedule a text right now.
What is it? The stat thing that
it's
you?
the StatCast alternate
yeah,
broadcast.
I want to watch it in that.
You're going to be out trick or treating.
Oh yeah,
That's
all right.
Be able to watch
I don't know if
tonight.
I can record it. So send me a text.
Well,
anyway.
it's not. It's already being recorded. You can
okay.
start
That's
the game
right.
from
That's
the
right.
beginning. All right, we
still
still
got
have
a number
one
one.
more to go. I think we'll play Chris vs. Defense first, and then we'll get to it because
that seems weird.
All right. Well, we'll see what we do with this number one. Everybody, trying to come up with a joke that you'll get on the other side. Pay attention.
was our fearless producer.
Here's a concept. Bite me.
Gwynn and Chris starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
Oh, 4 o'clock. Almost through this Halloween show.
That's what the Commanders get for changing
Name and logo.
from football team.
Name and logo.
I hated that.
I remember this like it was yesterday.
It was funny because that was the plan. He wasn't like trying to yawn because it was the Commanders. He just happened to yawn that way.
I don't think it's a yawn. It's a cry for help. Name and logo. I remember asking if they could change it for the Washington FT, and this is what Chris felt when he found out it wasn't going to be the FT anymore. Name and logo.
All right, they've heard it like 32 times in the last minute.
Oh, it feels good.
It's great. We do have a Chris versus the Fan coming up, but we do need to finish our Big Five.
Yeah,
Mr.
I'm not going to
Scraby
do
had
the numbers
one more
and everything,
question.
but I need to put up a video on the screen right now for the YouTube folks. If you are not driving, please pay attention to the YouTube screen. In Colorado Springs, there was a reporter who caught up with a local tattoo shop because the tattoo shop they built an apartment building next to the tattoo shop. And the apartment building keeps towing the cars of the tattoo shop patrons. So this reporter caught up with the tattoo shop, and tattoo shop had a really interesting way of dealing with this issue. So here is some of that report.
The mural is basically, it's a tow truck driver towing a car. He's a big old running over while other are running away from him, doing Colorado activities like mountain biking and snowboarding away and stuff like that.
This is Pace. He's a tattoo artist at Fallen Heroes Tattoo in Colorado Springs. He painted the mural that we can't show you.
It's just been a parking dispute, so we tried to work together, and it really got nowhere. So we knew something like this mural would get their attention.
The new apartment building next door has been towing customers' cars. They share an alley, but there are only signs on the apartment side that say resident parking only. It's confusing, and they say at least 45 of their customers have gotten their cars towed recently for parking in spaces outside their building.
They were the ones being at first, so it's basically a sword fight right now. I feel like we're winning.
To get back at them, they did what tattoo artists do best. Now everyone in the apartment building has to look out over this.
It's very cartoony and fun.
All right, so you have to go look at the video a little bit later.
It's very cartoony and fun, he says.
Yes, but the what they put on the roof of this tattoo shop.
I think everybody has a good imagination. I think they can put it together for themselves.
It's male body parts. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew.
Okay.
Now, my question is, because the apartment building is taller than the building, so everybody looks out on the body parts.
Right.
By the way, I would like to say this is from reporter Mark Salinger. I want to give him credit.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
I don't know who's first. I'll just go with Tony and then Chris. Do you think it's okay, Tony, to put male body parts on the roof?
I understand the premise of the tattoo artist and the message he's trying to convey, but I don't think it's appropriate.
What?
Here's why.
They've towed 45 customer cars.
Here's the deal, though. The people who are actually, is it the owner of the building that's towing these cars, or it is the individuals in the apartments?
I would think it's the owner of the building.
Okay, are the people actually parking where they're not supposed to park?
But the signage is very confusing.
Well, then why don't they just change the signage? Why is that not done?
I guess this tattoo shop has tried, but they don't want to do it.
I feel like the tattoo artist feels like this is his only recourse at this point.
Yeah.
That being said, if there are children that live in that building, as a parent,
you'd rather not see this.
I'd rather my kids not open the window and see male body parts on top of the roof.
Chris, is this okay for the body part? Well, and let me say this. The reporter, Mark Salinger, contacted Colorado Springs, the city government, said, is this illegal? Do they need to take this down? The city government said, no, it's a private building, and the owner is okay with it, so it can stay.
Okay, that doesn't make a lot of sense either.
Why?
I'm sure it's a private building, but I mean, there has to be some limit to what you can picture there. I mean, I don't want to even describe what my mind is thinking of, but you could put some really either sickening or provocative type of things up there.
I've seen the picture without the blur over it, and It's
Okay, but
it
that's
is cartoony. It's not like.
But I'm just saying the city said it's his building. He can do whatever he wants.
Basically, yeah.
I don't know that makes a lot of sense either. Because
Well-
you could go beyond what this tattoo artist did.
That's true.
Way beyond.
That's true.
And then, where's it going to end?
Well, I think maybe the hope is that the owner of the building, the apartment, comes back to the negotiation table and they can figure this out. Because I'm sure the tenants that are paying money to stay there are probably not happy about male body parts on a roof that they have to overlook. Just my guess.
If you would like to see the picture, you just need to Google male body parts Colorado Springs and dive and duck because
What if you just Google male body parts? Period.
No.
Not that?
You gotta limit it. You gotta put it down. Or just Google Mark Salinger because that's
Good
that's who
old
was
Colorado
the
Springs.
report. But I thought this was, I thought this was hilarious.
I was going to throw a comment or two in about Colorado Springs in general, but we might have some folks out there who have roots there, so I'm going to lay off.
Yeah, hold on to that one for a little bit.
Yeah, or else you'll be called a male body part.
All right, 833
Won't be the first time.
288-0973 if you want to take on Chris versus the Fan right now.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. Today we are playing for a qualification for a chance to win a pair of tickets to San Diego State men's basketball season opener against UC San Diego on November 6th. Get tickets at goaztecs.com. Also, we have a few lines open, 833-288-0973 for the game. The rules, you have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get the question wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you're a first-time player, let us know. You get that question for free today. Chris versus the Fans is presented by SD Fat Loss. Lose 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days. Visit sdfatloss.com to schedule your free consultation. So there you go.
Aztecs men played their exhibition last night against Cal State San Marcos.
Rolled.
80-39 was the score.
Wow.
More impressive, 12,000 people showed up for the exhibition at
Love
the
it.
A-House Arena.
Love it.
Very nice.
All right.
12. Wait, I was talking to the contestant. Did you say 12,000?
12,000.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. We're going to go to our first contestant, which is Peter.
Peter, welcome to the show. Happy Thursday.
This is Caesar.
Oh, Caesar. I'm
That
sorry.
was Caesar.
I'm
okay.
I'm listening to him at very low level.
Come on, Scrape. Jeez,
Sorry.
man.
Caesar,
That's all good.
good luck
See
to
what
you,
you did
sir.
to me, Caesar?
Here we go, Caesar. First question.
I am a first-time
All righty.
I was a little late. Sorry.
Second
question. What country is Juan Soto from?
The Dominican Republic.
Wow, nice job.
Bingo, bango.
I don't know if I would have gotten that, honestly.
I
It's
might
not a
have
surprise.
because he was in the World Classic, was he not?
Yeah,
He
I
was
should probably
indeed.
have thought about that.
He would. Gray Scrape, you wouldn't have thought of that, though.
No, I'm just a liker of sports.
He and
You're just
Manny were
I'm glad you're
teammates.
finally wrapped your mind around being a liker of sports. All right, here we go. Question number 3.
For the win.
For the win.
Am I look up is Maurice Jones-Drew dressed up as Maurice Jones-Drew
Yes.
He
for
is.
Halloween?
Yes,
Okay. That's what I thought.
That's great. Who is the head coach of the Carolina Panthers?
For 3 points.
Oh, God.
That shows you what
Yeah.
a no-name this guy is.
Yeah, I'm just going to say Anthony Lynn.
Anthony Lynn.
Wow.
All right.
I haven't heard much from Anthony recently.
I haven't heard anything.
Stay there.
Yeah, stay there and probably win there. I honestly, the guy's name is David, I believe.
We
But
need
I don't
last
believe that's
names.
going to qualify me.
No, it's
so, man. Yeah, it's right there on the tip of my tongue, but it's just Canales.
Oh, he got it.
Is that it?
Oh,
Sorry
I'm
about that,
sorry
Caesar.
about
That does
that,
happen
Caesar.
from time to time.
Call again.
He's
the worst.
He stalled long enough
Just
for
long
it to
enough.
pop in his head.
You know what I just did? I opened the champagne too early on the end of this segment because I deleted all the question beds thinking it was over. Give me a second.
Well, Scravy's back, everybody.
Sorry about
Hey.
that, Caesar. That
All
does
right.
happen sometimes. I just magically
I didn't
remember
think he was
something.
going to get it. I didn't think.
David, God,
All right,
he's-
let's go to our next contestant. Let's
he's
go to
having a rough go.
Brian in Mission Valley.
Hello, Brian.
Hey, how you doing?
We're
Hey, Brian,
doing
good
well.
luck.
Here we go. First question. What is the official name for ping pong?
Table tennis.
Nice work.
Winner.
Question number 2. Ooh. Yeah, this is gonna take some folks that like to play bar games on a dartboard. What number is directly below the center?
Nine.
9.
9.
Stay there,
That's
Brian.
I think
incorrect.
he's trying to just go around. 20's at the top. I think you're after 19, but I don't know that it's directly below the center. I'm
19.
gonna guess 19.
Good number. Is it the right answer? It is not.
Wow.
On to the next round. The answer is 3.
Really?
According to when I Googled a dartboard, and
why
I
do you
clicked on the
always say
image-
that? And
Because Chris,
according to when
because
I,
Chris immediately starts typing as soon as the question is answered.
you gotta fake it till you make it, though. If you
3
come
is
in,
correct.
Okay, good.
I'm looking at a dartboard. 19 is just to the left
If
of
you
3.
come in like, this might not be right, he's going to check at that point.
Yeah.
He checks every.
You got it. You got it.
Here we
3
go.
is right. And
Question-
you're alive, Brian.
Brian, question number 3. Here we go. What World Cup team has scored the most goals in men's World Cup history?
God. Okay, guys. Either I got 2 possibilities: Brazil or Germany.
Give me your best one.
I'll go to Brazil.
He's going Brazil.
You are.
You got this.
Stay there, Brian.
Nice job, Brian.
At least according to this.
Yes. How many have they scored? Like 12?
237.
I'm so mean to soccer.
Germany
sometimes.
232, and then there's a big drop off.
Yeah.
It was a
Argentina
big draw, so he had
one-
the top 2.
He had
Yeah.
the top 2, but
Well
5
done.
goals in the history of the World Cup. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. They lead 5-4. It's close.
You are mean to soccer, dude.
We are mean to soccer.
I don't know
He's
about
like,
we.
have they even
You.
scored a goal in the World Cup?
You can watch for a long while.
Do you remember that time that Chris was so furious at our women's team for running up the score?
Yes, I do.
like Chinese Taipei.
It was like 14 to nothing.
He was salty for
It
like
was
2
so
weeks.
weird
about
how
that.
how strangely angry he was at the team for doing that. And he is an American.
I forgot about that. That's funny.
That was a long
I have
time
class,
ago.
unlike Sean Payton.
Let's get to break. Brian, nice work. Scraby will get your information on the other side. We'll finish off the show with a Gwynn and Chris's Pick'em, NFL Pick'em on the other side. Here's some traffic.
From the 90s.
everybody. Have a good night. Have fun. Be safe. Take care of each other out there. 4:20 is the time. We have 6 minutes on the clock. And we're going to do our Gwynn and Chris NFL Pick'em. I know that the Survivor Pool, which is going on out there for the big belt, the championship belt.
Five left.
Only 5 people left. I wonder how many of them will pick the Saints this week. Because I doubt anybody's picked the Saints yet. And they're at Carolina.
And they get their quarterback back.
And they get their quarterback. But it'd be interesting in a Survivor Pool, putting your money on a team that has lost 6 games in a row.
I know.
But that might be who people take.
The strategy might call for it.
Strategy will get into it. All right, let's do our pick'em here. Tony's still got the lead. The Washington Hail Mary pass allowed me to shave a little off that lead.
Oh,
last
that's
week.
how you got the 4 points.
I got an extra few points on that.
And you didn't even know it happened.
I know, until much later in the evening.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go.
Oh, that's me.
No intro.
It's time for Tony and Chris to face off. Playing for a season-long prize of pride.
I see pride. I see power.
The guys make their picks, and then they stress over their picks all weekend.
No! Please, no! No! No!
Gwynn and Chris NFL Pick'em starts now.
I think that no guy is a Bears fan from last week. All right, Tony, you're ahead 49-38. Still a nice margin, 11-point lead. This is the halfway point of the season. And you're picking first this week. We get a 3-point game, 2-point game, 1-point game, and then our upset pick. You're up.
Baltimore will get us popping.
Baltimore for 3 over Denver. Denver, surprising 5-3.
Surprising.
It's about time Baltimore puts
Will
them
the
in
real
their place.
Denver Broncos please stand up?
Yeah. Hard to believe the Ravens would lose 2 in a row, but they did, I think, earlier this season lose 2 in a row, surprisingly. All right, I will go with I have 2 choices here. I'm getting worried if Kansas City's about due to finally lose a game.
You
Monday
can leave
night
them for me if you want.
I know. Monday night against Tampa Bay is probably not the night because the Bucs just don't have enough, no receivers for Baker Mayfield to do damage. I'll take Kansas City. All right, 2 points, Tony. See another couple of good ones here. Potentially.
Would you take Kansas City?
I did.
I will go with the Eagles.
That's what I thought you would. The Eagles are home to the Jags. Eagles are starting to figure it out again. They're 5-2.
Oh, man. In the Padres Media League, I was playing against Woods. He had Jalen Hurts just
3
crushed my
touchdowns last
dreams.
week on the tush push.
Just crushed my dreams.
Yeah, I think two of them were on the tush push.
Hey, they stopped the tush push a couple times too.
And then they just kept doing it though.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it's frustrating. That's why I got Jalen Hurts on my side this year. All right. I just touted the same. I'll do it the Bengals at home. They got to win a game against the athlete-less Raiders. Who do the Raiders have left? I don't know.
Good question.
Yeah.
Crosby. That's who they have left.
Crosby and I tell you, the Bowers, the tight end, is pretty good.
Oh, yes. He's on my team. I definitely know
good.
he's pretty good.
That's
who was that?
I took the Bengals for 2 points.
See?
All right, 1-pointer, Tony Gwynn Jr.
Ooh,
Dun, 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 dun,
well,
dun.
my 1-point pick will be... Oh.
Bum, 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 bum. Da-na-na-na. We're down to 1:30.
Give me...
on the clock. Clock is ticking.
Detroit. Ooh. No, I'm going to go. Give me Washington.
Washington at the Giants. God, should I take the Saints? 6 games in a row they've lost. No, I shouldn't. I'll take Minnesota struggling. Minnesota at home Sunday night over the Colts. All right, now we get an upset pick. If that team wins, you get the number of points they're underdog by. Tony, you get the first crack here. Who's going to pull off the upset
This
this week?
is the week
You've been good this year on the upsets.
Bryce Young pulls it off.
Oh, boy, Carolina.
Man, if you pull this off, game is over, Chris.
7-pointer. All right, I have to come back. I just have the weirdest feeling I've had it this week. I hope I'm smart about my own team. I think the Dolphins are going to just rally for one win in Buffalo. They have been tortured by Buffalo for ever since Josh Allen's been there. Got to be one game they are able to overcome him. And if they don't, the race in the AFC East is all but over. So I'll take Miami to try and stave off the end of their season. It would be a 6-pointer if I get it. Okay, there's our picks. We'll let you know how it turns out next week. We are off and running here. Enjoy your Halloween night. Jets and Texans is coming up next in 3, 2, 1. There goes the music. We're back tomorrow for a full 4 hours.
Chris's
so
favorite part of any day. The end of the show music.
That's everybody, buddy.
Well, I really enjoy this show.
I'm ready to go for 7 more hours, guys.
All right. Let us know how that works out for you.
All right. By the way, everybody be careful out there. I just checked the traffic on the way home to see how long it was going to take me. My app just told me 1 hour and 23 minutes. So,
well, you've got people all
cattywampus
thrown around now after that fire, which from our view looks like it's mostly out, but still very nervous times around the college area. So be careful. More Gwynn and Chris tomorrow at 2. Enjoy your Hallows Eve, everyone.